Welcome to Blues Beat with me, Richard Partington, and the Manchester Evening News City correspondent, Stuart Brennan. Stuart, squad are back in training this week, but I guess the focus to an extent is still on any potential new signings.
Yeah, it always is at this time of year, isn't it? You know, people want to see who's coming in. So it's been a little bit slow getting going this summer, as opposed to the last two summers, of course, when it's been absolutely manic. But we're starting to see things happen now with Gael Clichy. He's had his medical today, and he's, it looks like the signing's going through, and there'll be an announcement shortly.
A good addition to the squad?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, left back seems to have been a problem position for City since the year dot. You know, it seems to be an eternal problem, and even when they've thrown money at it. I mean, Wayne Bridge came in for a decent amount of money and didn't quite hack it. Alex Kolarov last season, it still remains to be seen, because he's only had one season. It's difficult. It's always difficult in your first season, but he didn't quite come up to the mark defensively. He looked quite good going forward at times. But Clichy's proven in the Premier League. He's proven top 4 Premier League. Very good player, very strong, aggressive, quick, gets crosses in, decent defensively, very good going forward. So I think he will be a good signing. Sure,
and it's another Arsenal player, isn't it? And Samir Nasri, who's got everybody talking. What's happening with him at the moment?
Well, I've been off on a week's holiday. I've come back. I don't think the interest is quite as strong as people have made out. It's been made out that City are banging the door down and he's about to sign. My understanding is that isn't quite the case. I'm not saying that City won't sign him, but I think he's certainly one of the irons in the fire. But that's all he is, just an iron in the fire. I don't think that they're about to announce him, hot on the heels of Clichy, that they'll be signing Nasri as well. It's one that's possibly later in the summer may come, or even quicker than that if the opportunity presents, because the transfer markets can be a very fast-moving animal at times. So it's something to keep an eye on, but I don't think there's anything imminent with that.
What about Alexis Sanchez? Is that still worth keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get a hunch about these things, but when people were saying that deal was dead, I still had it in my head that maybe it wasn't, because there's a game been played out between Udinese and Barcelona and City, and United have come into that equation as well. And when you see the nature of the game, Udinese have been trying to pump the price up, and perhaps have been trying to play Barcelona against City. And I can't help but think that maybe at the end of the day, it might come down to it that City are the only offer on the table that Udinese are prepared to accept.
Yeah.
We keep hearing that Barcelona virtually clinched the deal, but Udinese was saying that about 2 or 3 weeks ago, that the deal was 80% done. And that clearly wasn't the case. So there's a little bit. I mean, I could be proved hopelessly wrong, but there's a little bit in me that thinks that maybe Udinese will come back to City at some point and say, well, can we start talking business again?
Okay, I suppose underplaying all of this is the fact that UEFA's rules on financial fair play come into being next season. Are the club well set for that?
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why we've had such a cagey start to the summer transfer deal, because City have said, they needed to get into a position where they could get into the top 4 and they could win a trophy, and that's why they've thrown money at it. And sometimes they had to go and pay above the odds to get players in who they knew could get them to where they needed to go. But they're not in that position now. They're now in the top 4. They're now in the Champions League, which brings financial reward of its own. So this summer they've set out to perhaps kill that tag that City can be an easy touch in the transfer market. They've gone out and said, well, this is how we value the player. This is what we're prepared to pay, and we're not going any higher. And I think so. That's one of the reasons for that. But other than that, I think City are fairly well set. As I say, the Champions League income is always good. The plans to develop the ground, develop the land around the ground, and possibly stadium naming rights and that kind of thing, will all be cash generators that should fuel fuel the club and make sure that they do meet the requirements of the financial fair play.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you mentioned you just returned from holiday, Stuart, and you're off on your travels again, I believe, next week.
I am. I can't see this one being a holiday though.
No.
But yeah, I'll be flying out to link up with City out in San Francisco for the first part of they're going out at the end of this week. But the first week is a media lockdown. They're just going to get their heads down and train and get all that hard physical pre-season stuff out of the way. And then by the time I get there, they'll be thinking about games. San Francisco will be the first game on July the 18th, I think it is, against Club America, the Mexican side who they played last year in pre-season. And then a couple of days later up to Vancouver to play the Whitecaps. And then back to, they'll be based in LA for the duration. They'll just be travelling to those games and then back to LA for the final week. And then rounding it off with a game against certain Mr. Beckham's LA Galaxy team.
Sound like you'll need a holiday after all that, Stuart.
I probably will. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to be reporting, doing a daily diary and blog on Facebook. Hoping to take some video and photos. So all that will be available on the Evening News website, obviously in the newspaper as well. So I'm going to be a busy bunny.
Enjoy. Thanks, Stuart. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.